Welcome to the channel, everyone. Well, you can see we got the motor back in the car, the new motor back in the car, the BluePrint 396 crate engine. It went in really good. It just dropped right back in, but just been fighting a bunch of little issues that have really been slowing down the whole process here. First issue was these. You can see there's a new sensor here. There's also a new sensor in the back there. That's an oil pressure sensor, and those are specific to the new gauges that we're going to use in this. I showed you them, the Dakota digital gauges we're going to run. So them sensors had to be used. Them are for that gauge pack. So was going to put this temperature sensor down back where the temperature sensors usually sit, which is on the heads there. Got it on, test fitted the headers. Wasn't going to fit down there, so that wasn't going to work. You can see it's not very big, but once you plug it in, there's a plug-in, and it's got a little more height to it. I did not want that new type plug, out front. we're trying to keep this thing so it looks old looking, so there's no modern stuff about it. That's why we painted the whole motor, heads and all. We're trying to give it an old look. So because I had to put it here, I had to use this is actually the neck from my 400 that I was going to use. It's an aluminum one, and it doesn't have the original look to it, but there's no way that's going to work with this sensor here. And this is like the only place this sensor can fit that we can figure out. There's a spot right here. Probably should have drilled and tapped this right here to put that sensor there. I didn't know. I thought this was gonna go in the head, but if I could do it over again, that's probably what I would have done, so I could run the old time water neck. But it is what it is. It's got to be that way. There's no way around it. There is another port right here, but again, it's gonna stick out, I think, like 3 inches or something there, and I think it would have looked worse here than it will here. We're gonna have an air cleaner, so it's gonna hide some of that. So that's what we did with that. The oil pressure gauge, that was another issue we had. You could screw it right into the back. It's 1/8 inch NPT. Problem is there's no room there with the intake on. If you installed it with the intake off, you could do that, but I had to get one of these adapters. It's just I got a 3-pack. I got 2 more here. It's just an 1/8 inch NPT male to 1/8 inch NPT female, and it just raised it up just that little bit that we needed, and it goes on just fine. So that's all fixed. Yeah, I'm hoping there's enough room back there for the distributor where it's clocked. I think I had some trouble with the old motor. Another thing we're kind of noticing is that Edelbrock RPM intake is a little higher than original, and I'm a little nervous looking at it right now. I'm a little nervous if we're going to be able to get that hood on this thing. I did get a drop. I got a drop base, so we got our fingers and toes crossed on that. Again, like I said, tons of little issues here that we're having to solve, but Next issue I had was power steering pump. It was not lining up. This water pump here is not designed, I don't think, for this type of mount for the power steering pump. So I had to, you can see I got a few washers here to try to get it. Well, I think it's lined up. I mean, I think it's lined up within a 32nd of an inch, I believe. So I think we're good. I mean, I think it looks pretty darn straight. Hopefully we don't throw no belts. But yeah, that was another. I had to modify this bracket. I did that earlier because the BluePrint block has like right there. It kind of like comes out, which a GM block does not have a thing there. So it was hitting that, and I had to cut it up, kind of bend it around that, and yeah, that's kind of what I come up with. Actually, this piece right here, I made this because normally this bracket would bolt to the exhaust manifold, and I didn't want a weird looking, like they have an adapter that sticks it way out here. I didn't want that, so that's what I did. But after all that, I think we're good to go. So now I got to get this thing up in the air, and I got to start getting the bell housing on there, and I got to measure that for the Tremec 5-speed, because there's a real tight clearance they want for that new Tremec 5-speed. So hoping and praying. I've heard good things about the BluePrint blocks being pretty darn close. Hopefully our bell housing is close. So maybe we'll just be able to drop that thing on and go. I'm hoping. But reality, it doesn't usually go that way. So yeah, guys, I got to get this thing up in the air and get the bell housing on there. I got to get my tool set up so I can measure it. And yeah, we'll go from there, I guess. Okay, so I got the car up, and we are going through the motions of aligning the bell housing again. Remember, this is a new motor, same bell housing, new motor, but it's very important on these Tremec 5 speeds that you have this bell housing. They say within 5 thousandths. So that's what we're going to do here. I've already figured out my measurements, and we're a 22 thousandths off up and down, which you divide that, it's 11 thousandths. That's still not the 5 thousandths we need. Side to side we're good. We're 10 thousandths total, which is 5 thousandths actual. So we're good side to side. We're not good up and down, which I think that's what you're gonna find, I think, on most engines. But anyway, I gotta pull this all off. I gotta get the offset dowel pins. I think we have some 7 thousandths ones, and that should get us where we need to be. So I'm gonna probably do that. I showed you all this when I did the initial conversion. So I showed you all this, so I'm not going to do the same steps. I'm not going to go through all of that. So I'm going to get this lined up, and I get the offset dowel pins in, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I've got the bell housing aligned, and here, this is what we had to do to get the original dowel pins out of the engine, because they were not you weren't just going to take a vice grip and pop these off. Actually, this is a big nut. Dad ground it down. I welded it onto it, and then we took a pickle fork, and they come out that way. And let me tell you, they are in there good. So I've got everything in there. We're within 2,000s up and down, and like 1,500 side to side now. And what I ended up doing was using the old dowels that I had on the other motor. I put them in the exact same way they were on that motor, and it's like perfect. It's just like it was on the other motor. So what that tells me is it's not the motors that are out, it's the bell housings that are out, I believe. Because I don't think a motor is going to be out. It's really you're lining the bell housing to the motor. That's what that tells me anyway. Two different motors, same bell housing, and the dowels, you know, worked for both motors. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. I'm not gonna lie, getting that out. We almost thought about taking the motor out to get those dowel pins out, but we eventually got it. So basically, I got to take this back off, get the clutch installed, and I got to touch up some of the undercoating because we're under here, we're working on it, and we scratched some of it. And then the transmission can actually go back in. So yeah, we're making progress, slow. Okay, so I got my clutch back installed. Got the undercoating touched up. Getting ready to put my bell housing back on. I didn't really show this on my conversion video. When you install a clutch, you know, you want to tighten it up crisscross a little bit at a time. I got an alignment tool right here for the clutch disc, and this is what you want. You know, no effort whatsoever to pull this tool in and out. That's exactly what you want. If you got resistance, a lot of resistance, you gotta loosen up all your bolts, recenter your clutch disc in there, tighten them back down, and check again, because if it's off, you're gonna fight. You see all the guys fighting with their transmission, trying to get them to go in. It's because they ain't got their clutch lined up. So anyway, that's ready to go. I got everything torqued down to spec. Bell housing's gonna go on, and got to do a few measurements to make sure our hydraulic clutch is still gonna have the clearance it needs. But other than that, it's ready for the transmission. Okay, so transmission is back in. It went in real nice, just like the first time. Take your time, get your clutch lined up, and that's what'll happen. Got the cross member back in place, tightened down. Got the hydraulic clutch bled. I got my, this is the bleeder line on the clutch. I just put there's a hole here, so I just put a clamp and stuck it there. It just kind of makes it look a little nicer. Suppose I could put it up there or something, but I don't know, it's all right there. Also, I got this boot. We didn't have this boot last time. Couldn't really find it, or I forgot about it. This is actually for a fork to go in there, but the lines come through it real nice. You never know, a rock fly off your tire, bounce off the body, and you would not want something like that flying in your clutch. That would be really bad. So yeah, I got pretty much everything figured out under here, except for the bell housing shield. I got to put that. I got to loosen the starter to do that. Don't have the dry shaft in quite yet. I got to figure out the exhaust next. But I'm going to go up up top. We'll finish up most of the stuff up top. Then we'll get back to the exhaust. Okay, so this will be the final update for this video, guys. You can see pretty much got everything in there. Fan, shroud, radiator. Pretty much everything is done. I gotta put coolant in it. I did put a stainless overflow tank right here. It was kind of spitting out and getting all over the radiator here. I gotta do a little polishing because it got the radiator corroded a little bit, but I didn't want it spitting out of the radiator here, getting all over, so it just kind of cleans that up. Just bolted it to the radiator shroud there. So I do got to pull this bracket off. That's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to pull that off, paint it, and then I'll raise it up. I'm going to be working on the exhaust. So that's next. But yeah, we're getting there, guys. Almost ready to fire this thing up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video here. I'll see you guys.